Comics are my shtick. My name is Blake T. Wild. You may also know me as Smokey's Videos, and on this week's episode, I'm wearing a beanie. Because I was wearing it most of the day, and I didn't feel like puffing up my hair and making it actually look good and not flat and ugly. So I was just like, fuck it, I'll just put the beanie back on. As always, this episode, just like all the other ones, are brought to you by my Patreon and my Etsy shop. Patreon.com/Smokey'sVideos, Etsy.com/BlakeTWild, or BlakeTWild.etsy.com, whichever one's easier. On Patreon, you get access to videos early. You get exclusive content such as Popcorn and my audio commentaries of the MCU and the DCEU. You get access to comic books. I serialize pages of my comics each week alongside annotations of the pages that I'm commenting on. And the most recent thing on there is the almost 3-hour-long video commentary track for my drunken flailing about while watching Avatar, the 2009 James Cameron cult classic smash hit, box office hit. You know that film? Yeah, I got super fucking wasted while watching it, and you can check out the entire 3 hours of it as I get progressively more and more loopy and completely wasted right there. And of course, check out my review and clips that I'm posting of the very same Avatar video. Let's get right into things. As you can see from behind me, I have a new little set dressing. I just put it right here, right now, just for the time being. That is because I just celebrated my 35th birthday. That's right, I'm only 35 years young. But I figured it'd be funny just to go through some of my stuff that I got. Obviously, as you can see right here, is the Sideshow Collectibles. Let me move these little guys out of the way. This is the Sideshow Collectibles Zombie Doctor Strange from the Multiverse of Madness. If you have been following my channel, if you've been following this podcast, you know how much I loved Multiverse of Madness, and I got this bad boy right here. It's absolutely incredible. It's just amazing to look at. I love it so much. It's so gnarly looking. It's just demonic and dark and off-putting. The weird thing about it is that all the arms, they do move a little bit. They're on a hinge, or like a little, like a ball swivel. But the weird thing is that you'd think that this like whole back section, like maybe it would be magnetized, maybe it would pop in on his back. No, it just sort of hangs right here on both arms that just drape over his shoulders, which was the oddest part, I think, to me, putting this thing together. But that is just incredible. I absolutely love it so much. Like I said, that is like a top 5 Marvel film, MCU film for me. I absolutely had a blast with it. I loved seeing zombie Doctor Strange, and I just had to have it, so I was like, please get me this for my birthday. The Holdovers. If you saw my last episode, or the episode before that, where I was discussing my top 5 films of 2023, you'll know that The Holdovers quickly became my absolute favorite film of all time. And my God, I cannot wait to watch this every Christmas, every New Year's, every day maybe. It's just such an incredible film. The only thing that I haven't opened it yet. The only thing that I don't really know for sure is if it has commentary or not. It says bonus features, deleted scenes, working with Alexander, the cast of The Holdovers, and more. Now you can see right here are the little photos they use. There's the scene that I explicitly called out and discussed in my review of it. As yeah, just check that out. Check out my best films of 2023 to see my discussion of The Holdovers and why it is such an amazing film. Moving on. Oh, here's the little demon things, by the way, if you want to look at those. Moving on. Oop, knocked down my little Mego Spider-Man. To some interesting books. The last 3 items are books. The first... Actually, I'm going to hold off on this one. I hope you didn't get a sneak peek. The first is this strange collection, Discourses on Various Occasions by a Catholic minister from the late 19th century named Hyacinth Loyson. I was just found out about him through the internet. I can't remember what I was doing specifically, but he just seemed like a very interesting person, and he's kind of the very first person to utter the phrase World War. during a speech he was giving in about 1869 or so, I think is the one. It's in regard to not the classical, like, traditional World War that we think of. It was something else. But that is possibly one of, if not the first instance of World War being used, at least publicly, in transcripts that we, still have. So I wanted to get this. I wanted to see his discourses on various occasions. Just seemed like a very interesting person. Father Hyacinth. Speech before the Peace League at Paris, July 10, 1869. This might actually be the speech I was just telling you about, but I'll have to read it to find out. Next up is a very large book, and that is the Dictionary of Archaic Words, such as shockful, quite full. It basically means chock full. It's very English, Anglofied, I suppose. At the beginning, there's a list of like little villages and hamlets and whatnot where they got a lot of these words from. And a lot of these things sort of have like, it's the same words for the same things. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I saw one that looked funny. What did that say? Where did that go? Chat potatoes means small potatoes, which I assume came from Lancaster. So I was just having a blast looking through this. Just seeing all these odd things. A dead nip, a blue mark on the body, ascribed to necromancy. What could that have possibly been? What? What would that... A bruise, baby? What? What would that be? It just says it's from the north. What was going on in the north in archaic times? I think my favorite one that I found, just briefly sort of sifting through here, is porcupig, which is another way to say porcupine. There's a lot of words for porcupine in this archaic word dictionary. But those were all my gifts, aside from the one that I've been holding out on you. And that is The Art of Cinema by Kim Jong-il. You may recognize that name as the former dictator of North Korea. But he was also a big fan of movies. He even kidnapped a South Korean director and his wife and made them shoot films. And then the world and South Korea and everybody else was like, wow, those guys are traitors to our country and freedom. Even though they were kidnapped and their lives were pretty much ruined after they were freed. For a bit. I think they bounced back. But I got this because I've wanted this for years. In his preface, the author states, "The cinema is now one of the main objects on which efforts should be concentrated in order to conduct the revolution in art and literature. The cinema occupies an important place in the overall development of art and literature. As such, it is a powerful ideological weapon for the revolution and construction. Therefore, concentrating efforts on the cinema, making breakthroughs, and following up success in all areas of art and literature is the basic principle that we must adhere in revolutionizing art and literature." So that was the exact same sentence about 6 or so times. Kim Jong-il, 1942 through present, because this was printed before he died, is the leader of North Korea. 1994 to present. Kim Jong-il succeeded his father, Kim Il-sung, who had ruled North Korea since 1948. So yeah, like I was saying, I've wanted this for years, just out of an odd sort of curiosity, and I finally got it. It is a whole whopping about 330 pages or so, and I fully plan, I should say, to make a video discussing this and reviewing it whenever I read it. So expect that sometime in the future. Probably not anytime soon. I don't have that much time to read a book on movies about a former North Korean dictator. But I do plan on doing that. Just so you know. So you're not surprised when it pops up on the channel. But let's get into the stuff you guys came here to see. Starting it off with just kind of miscellaneous media. There is an Until Dawn film taking place. Director is David F. Sandberg, who did Shazam, he did Annabelle, he does a bunch of short films online, he has a great YouTube channel and online presence. His accounts are called Pony Smasher for some reason. He is going to be directing, and it is going to be written by the Annabelle creation writer, Gary Dauberman. So yeah, Until Dawn, if you're unaware, it's a really great game. I've never played it, I've only watched people play it, but it's fantastic. I really dig it. It has Brett Dalton in it, who from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It has Rami Malek. It has... what is her name? The blonde one. I was going to say Paris Hilton, but that's definitely not right. I can't remember. It has a couple... It was a fair amount of actors, a handful of them. And it's a... not a choose your... It kind of is a choose your own adventure. It's... How do you describe what that genre of games is? I'm sure if you're watching this, you fucking know what it is. So if you don't, just look up on YouTube Until Dawn. I'm excited. He posted a comment saying that he was planning, or like, where am I going with this? In a post advertising this or announcing this that David F. Sandberg shared, someone was like, oh, does this mean that you're just full-on adapting the storyline into the movie? Because the game's already pretty much a movie as is. David F. Sandberg's answer, in paraphrasing, is no. So they are seemingly planning on taking it in some kind of different direction. I don't know if that means more focus on specific characters, or if it means that it's going to be a different set of characters altogether, because the characters in the game, it's literally those actors. Like, it's full-on facial scans. They look exactly like them. They did the mocap for them. So it would be weird, I feel, to have these same characters but not bring back those same actors. So maybe this is more of, oh, it's within the world of Until Dawn. It's actually an adaptation of that shitty Until Dawn sequel spin-off game where you ride around on a roller coaster car and you shoot little pop-up Wendigos or some shit like that. Like that video game, like that ride game at Disney where you play as like Buzz Lightyear's Star Command. Is that what it is? Where you get the little laser guns and you shoot out of your cart as you go? That was a real thing that they made. Speaking of gaming, I have been gaming quite a lot, actually, for someone who has never gamed really before in the past couple of years, probably because I got a new computer. It's mostly been Fallout and DayZ for some reason. As you know, Fallout, I've started that up because I'm excited for the show that's coming out in a couple months. So I'm currently playing through Fallout 3 and Fallout 76. I'm doing it fairly chronologically. I'm sure eventually I'll get around to the Fallout 1 and 2, since those were originally the earliest timeline-wise. But now it's Fallout 76, which takes place like 20, 30-something years after the apocalypse. Fallout 3, which is the earliest of the 3D games. And then I'm going to plan on doing Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4, because those are about 10 years apart between each of them. And about 10 years apart from Fallout 3, I think is what New Vegas is. I can't remember. But yeah, I've been playing some video games. I've been gaming it up. And for some reason, one of those games is DayZ that I've been playing. I haven't played it since, I think, 2017, 2018. Was the last time Steam showed me as playing it. But goddamn, it has changed a lot. It looks really good. It sounds really nice. It's really fun to play. Especially on a non-PvP or player v player server like I have started doing. Because when I play games, I don't want to fucking stress about that shit. I'm already stressing enough in DayZ, worrying about goddamn zombies and getting disease and starving to death. I don't need to worry about some dipshit running along with his big-ass gun gunning me down. So I joined a server where you can't kill people or something. And it is a lot of fun. I'm having a blast. I'm thinking of starting up Skyrim as well. Maybe doing a heavily modded playthrough of Skyrim, because it's been years since I've played any Skyrim. So let me know if you're interested in that. Moving on. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book license was renewed at IDW, and Jason Aaron has been set to write for the new series, or the continuation of that series, which is going to begin in June 2024. So this summer, Jason Aaron goes to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know. I haven't read it. I'll be honest with you. I haven't read a single Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic except for the one where they cross over with Cerebus the Aardvark. And that was only because I got it in a bundle with another comic, a couple other comics that I wanted, and that was just thrown in there. So I was like, I fucking own it. May as well read it, I guess. I have no horse in this race. I haven't read any of the IDW TMNT comics. I don't think I've read any IDW actual, like, recent comics. Oh, God, I'm part of the problem. But people like Jason Aaron, I can't really think of anything he's written that I've enjoyed. My mind immediately just obviously goes to Gore the God Butcher, and if you've seen my video on that volume of Thor, you'll know I'm not a fan. Also, people, like, really hate him because of his Avengers run or something. Apparently that's bad. But I don't know. I haven't read it. But maybe he can do something cool with the Turtles. Here's something that I never thought I would discuss on my YouTube channel or this podcast. I don't think I've uttered these two words in this exact way once on my channel. Doctor Who is getting a brand new series of audio dramas, and it's gonna be set during the 9th Doctor. Christopher Eccleston, the first Doctor that brought the show back to what it is now back in 2005, he is my favorite Doctor. I don't care about Tennant. I don't care about Matt Smith. Peter Capaldi, I didn't even watch those. Jodie Foster, the new guy who I just realized recently was in the Barbie movie as, like, one of Ken's little sidekick Kens. Tom Baker, he's cool. He has that big scarf. I like him, but never watched his show. But Christopher Eccleston is the Doctor that I love. I really enjoyed everything he brought to that character during the, 10 episodes that he's in of it. But this will be interesting to see. It comes out next month, sometime in February. And it's called Doctor Who Buried Threats. And that's really all. They released the cover art of it, and it looks pretty cool. It's, like, full on. It's Christopher Eccleston is the Doctor in this, and then, it has the other characters that are involved, blah, blah. So it's going to be taking place whenever the fuck the 9th Doctor was active. I don't know what it's going to be released on. Probably something involving the BBC, I'd imagine. So I doubt I'm ever going to listen to it, but that's really cool that they were able to get Christopher Eccleston back, at least for this. In some way. The MAXX live-action movie starring Channing Tatum is reportedly moving forward at Paramount Pictures. Now, the MAXX. Do people like the MAXX? Because I don't. I don't think he's great. I never watched the cartoon. The art's cool because it's Sam Keith. And I think that's the main thing people jive with when it comes to the MAXX, is that it's Sam Keith's crazy, surrealist art style. I've only read the first issue of the MAXX, and I didn't give a shit at all about it. If you want to know about the MAXX, go watch Comic Pop's video or videos where they discuss the MAXX, because Sal over there just does it so much better than I possibly could. And I don't care. He at least has some vested interest, some sort of interest from his childhood of when he got those comics from Early Image. I don't have that. I do not care one single iota about the MAXX or the fact that Channing Tatum might be in it. How did Channing Tatum get sucked up into this, by the way? Was he a fan of the MAXX? Was he just like, God damn it, I'm not going to be Gambit. I may as well be another superhero. What do you got? He calls up his agent. The agent's like, there's Max. You get to play this guy named Max. I'll take it. And that's how that came to be. All right, we have exclusivo regarding Joker Folie Deux. Let me just say, I don't really remember what this is. But This is from at Joker Folie News on X.com. It is also in Spanish. Exclusivo! Harry Latte no set de Joker Folie 2. Todo indica que el interpretare Harvey Dent, duas caras, o promotor do caso do Coringa, Joker 2. So what that means, because I didn't bother translating it because it was just a couple of pictures, is that people are saying that Harry Lawty, if that's an actual man's name, is going to be playing Harvey Dent in Joker 2. And there are set photos of guys in big 80s overcoats walking down the street, and they were like, yeah, that's Harvey Dent. So I guess Harvey Dent's going to be in Joker 2 movie. Makes sense. It's Gotham. It's in, it's not that odd, I guess, that Harvey Dent's going to be in this. I doubt he's going to become Two-Face. Maybe we'll see Commissioner Gordon in this, or Cop Gordon, I guess. I don't even know when that movie comes out. When the fuck does Joker 2 Folie 2 get released? I don't know. Did they announce it? Did they say when that movie is coming out? Or are they just like, it's coming? Disney Plus has finally added the Netflix stuff to their sacred timeline. So now you can see Iron Fist being properly recognized. Disney has officially added the Netflix shows to their sacred timeline on Disney Plus, that option to watch things in somewhat chronological order. So now all the people who have said since 2015 that the Netflix shows are not canon can finally shut the fuck up, because that has been so goddamn annoying this whole time. Oh my god. The Netflix shows can't be canon to the MCU because Daredevil wasn't referenced in Endgame. Well, why wasn't Luke Cage running that club shown in Infinity War? Because it's not canon. Like, oh my god, shut the fuck up. Finally, concrete proof that it is canon to the MCU, so all those dumb motherfuckers can be quiet. That is, I hate whenever that comes up, because it's like, one, why does it matter that much? And two, why wouldn't it be canon? Why? Like, what do they have to gain, and what do they have to lose from it being canon or not? Not much either way. At least now they have something to gain, which is people really like Daredevil. Let's do more Daredevil. Wow, what a shocker. The most highly regarded Netflix or Marvel TV show ever released is getting a sequel? Or, it already got a sequel because it got a second season and got a third season. But it's getting a continuation? Wow. Color me crazy, because I can't believe it. Sony has revealed that they are writing... Well, yeah, all of Sony, that's who is doing this. It's the entirety of Sony Pictures. They all came together in one giant auditorium and were like, okay, let's do it. We're writing the God of War Amazon series and Horizon Zero Dawn Netflix series. I know what one of those things is. Horizon Zero Dawn, that's the thing with like a giant robot giraffe or something, I think. Is that the right game? So yeah, we're getting a God of War Amazon series. That's cool. God of War, I feel like, sort of comes from the same problem you get with Until Dawn, which is those games are more or less already a very linear, story-driven narrative, especially the new Norse mythological ones. I don't know why I used the word mythological there instead of mythology, but I did. So, is this going to be just starting straight in the past with the Greek-Roman sort of centric era? Or are they going after a whole new religious mythology? Is Kratos going to be killing Quetzalcoatl or whatever in South America, killing a bat god and drinking its blood? Or is he going to be fucking uppercutting Jesus in the face while he's stuck on the cross? Or is he going to be going to like the dreamland of the Aborigines of Australia? Not a lot of information's out. This is another horse pony race that I don't have an animal in. God damn, what is wrong with me? Yeah, I hope it's good. You know, I hope it's not like the Halo show for the Halo fans. But Horizon Zero Dawn, I have nothing to say for that. The Mandalorian and Grogu are headed to the big screen! Directed by Jon Favreau and produced by Dave Filoni, Kathleen Kennedy, and Dave Filoni... Oh, I read his name wrong. Produced by Jon Favreau, Kathleen Kennedy, and Dave Filoni, The Mandalorian and Grogu will go in production later this year. So, that is seemingly going to be... So that's the Jon Favreau movie. There's also going to be a post-Episode 6 film directed by Dave Filoni. There's the new Jedi Order film starring Rey, directed by Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy. I'm not sure. Dawn of the Jedi, directed by James Mangold. That's still going through. And AHSOKA Season 2 has officially been confirmed. All right, let's go down this list. So the Mandalorian and Grogu show. That, I'd imagine, is going to be following their exploits during whatever AHSOKA was, like, you know, the first season of AHSOKA. Where did season 3 end off? It was with Gideon dying, and the Mandalorians doing all this shit. I think Bo-Katan becomes the leader of the Mandalorians again. Oh no, the Darksaber gets destroyed, doesn't it? Fuck, how do I not remember? How do I remember more about what happened in The Mandalorian Season 2 on that fucking water planet than I do the ending of Season 3 of The Mandalorian? I can't remember what happened. Let me know in the comments. So that's going to be cool. I'm excited. I love Star Wars. I'm always down for more Star Wars. The new Jedi Order film starring Rey. Again, more Star Wars. I like Rey. I hope that this film doesn't treat Rey as its sole character and has some exploits for other people to do that actually matter. It's going to be interesting to see like what time frame this is set in, like how far into the future is this going to be? Is it going to be old lady Rey like on the Weekly Planet? What the fuck is going on outside? I think somebody just got kidnapped out there. Did you hear that? It's like the slam. I know the sound of a panel van door being slammed shut. Thank you very much. And that's exactly what that was. So is this going to be Rey being old and elderly? Is it going to be like a middle-aged Rey? How old is Daisy Ridley? Probably in her 30s, I think. I want to see it, because that was a big thing I really liked about the EU, was the fact that Luke had his Jedi Academy set up, and we got to see that. We got to see him training, we got to see him teaching a bit, you know, setting up a curriculum, getting new water coolers in, going over all that, reporting to a superintendent, you know, all that neat stuff, all that red tape bureaucratic crap that you'd have to do when you're a teacher. So, I am down to see Rey start up her own Force Academy. She had a lightsaber, right? Yeah, she buried Luke and Leia's lightsabers in the middle of the fucking desert. I hope they don't bring those back. Just leave them there. Just leave them in the desert. Because then if they bring back the lightsabers, then that's just going to be Vader's helmet to Kylo Ren in the sequel trilogy. Oh god, that's what they're going to do, isn't it? But anyway, she does have her lightsaber. She has her yellow golden one. Whatever that means now in the new canon. It used to mean something in the old canon, the colors. Now in the new one, it's like only the Jedi Temple guards ever had that color. So where the fuck did she get an orange yellow kyber crystal from? It wasn't Ilum. Was that what the planet? It wasn't Ilum, because that was long destroyed by the First Order and the Empire to create the Starkiller base. Yeah, here's a fun fact. If you aren't aware, the planet that the Jedi used to pilgrimage to attain their kyber crystals, it became Starkiller base. It was just super mined out and turned into a giant planet weapon. You see it a bit in the you get reference to it in the Battlefront game, and then I think you go there in the Jedi Survivor game, the first one at least. I haven't played the second one. I haven't even finished the first one. But anyway, what was the other one? Dawn of the Jedi by James Mangold. I don't really have anything to say regarding this, because that is so far in the fucking past that you can fucking do anything. You can have a lightsaber that walks a dog. I don't know why That was where my mind went. My mind, not like actual walking a dog. My mind initially went to like, oh, a lightsaber that shoots out and then forms the shape of of a dog balloon, you know, like a clown does, where they tie up a long balloon and make it look like a dog. What the fuck? Post episode 6 film by Filoni. That's obviously gonna be the Heir to the Empire film, the lead up to the Thrawn storyline that's taking place now that Thrawn's back, baby. And Ahsoka season 2. So Dave Filoni shared like a piece of art that he did that shows Ahsoka and Sabine standing on the giant statue's finger. They're like right here, right there. So we'll get to see what's up with them. Probably some weird metaphysical shit going on. Shin Hati and what is his name? What is Ray Stevenson's character's name? Can't remember that either. But I really can remember what that sweater looked like that Quarren was wearing in season 2 of The Mandalorian on that water planet. So we'll see what they're up to, I'd imagine. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with the Ray Stevenson's character. I brought up a couple of options that I thought would be suitable back when the show ended. So check those out if you're interested. Caitlin Dever has officially been cast as Abby in The Last of Us Season 2. Spoiler alert, if you're unaware, Abby is the one who kills Joel in The Last of Us Part 2. Her dad was like one of the scientists that Joel killed at the, like, when he's getting Ellie out of there. So it's, you know, good on Caitlin Dever for getting a job, I guess, after they got rid of her as Scott Lang's daughter in place of Catherine Newton. Oh, here we go. Here's some other zombie news. Danny Boyle and Alex Garland are officially teaming up for a sequel to 28 Days Later. Danny Boyle is attached to direct the first installment, and Garland is set to write all 3 films. The budget for each movie would be in the range of $75 million. So that's not that much. It's going to be a lower stakes film. But why does it have to be 3? Right off the bat. Why is it 3? I don't know if you can hear that. I think there's somebody hammering something. If you want to do 3 goddamn movies, just do the Halloween 2018 one, because the Halloween 2018, that's a great movie. That's a great follow-up. Also, does that mean, because it says they're doing a sequel to 28 Days Later, does that mean that they're going to either, well, you can easily ignore 28 Weeks Later because it's a completely different set of characters, but does that mean that they're going to be ignoring that film entirely and just doing what they've been doing for older films, which is, oh, only the first one and our new one is canon. That's it! Anyway, the Halloween thing. You can watch the original 78 Halloween, and you can watch the 2018 Halloween, and that's a concise story that works. That's my preferred method. I really like that. I like seeing, 78 is what happened. 40-something years later, right? He gets out, and then he gets burnt to death in a basement. That's the end. No other films come after that, or in between that. That's Halloween for me. But what they did initially for that 2018 Halloween one was that they wanted to do 2 films. What is the last one called? I can't remember. It was Halloween, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Forever. I don't fucking know. So they wanted to do 2 films, right? But the first one did so goddamn well that the studio was like, we need another. Which is why that middle movie, nothing happens. It's just treading water for probably 2 hours or so. I haven't watched it. And then the third movie is what should have been the immediate sequel. So, I don't know, why start on 3? Why not just focus on 1 and make that a really good movie that works well and makes you money, and then greenlight the other 1 or 2? But maybe it's the fact that it is $75 million when compared to a lot of films is not that much. So, and it's You know, the guys that did 28 Days Later. I don't know what else they've done since then, honestly, but that's a great film. And I'll look forward to this if it does become a thing, because there has been a third edition to the 28 blank later franchise for 20 years now. They've been discussing it. It's been in development hell. I think there's been like a comic adaptation or something, or like along those lines, but nothing has come of it. So while I am hopeful that this one is made, I am apprehensive. Speaking of the Walking Dead, Warner Brothers has made a, quote, strategic partnership with Tom Cruise to make original and new franchise films. And coincidentally enough, it was announced that Top Gun 3 was in the works. Speaking of making too many movies. With Ehren Kruger, who is going to be writing. He's the guy who wrote Top Gun Maverick, so that's good. You know, you get a good writer back in there. And Joseph Kosinski to return directing, so that's even better. That's pretty much just what I just read about 28 Days Later, but with Top Gun. Just rewind this video to the 28 Days Later section and just change 28 Days Later to Top Gun, and I feel like you'd have a pretty similar situation with what I'm gonna say about regarding this. It's gonna have Tom Cruise, Miles Teller, Glenn Powell are all set to return to star. There you fucking go. Same goddamn character. It's literally the exact same topic I just discussed. And I feel like I don't have much to say other than why in God's green earth, how much fucking money are they paying Tom Cruise to sign up with Warner Brothers? Like, Warner Brothers clearly knows that nobody likes them anymore. I wonder why. So, like, get Tom Cruise! He'll make us money! And then the little stooge guy's like,
Yes, sir, Mr. Zaslav. We'll get Thomas Cruise Mapother on the phone right away.
and then he runs off and skitters down the spiral staircase that leads up to the Warner Brothers water tower that David Zaslav has turned into an Airbnb. And he goes and gets on the horn to Tom Cruise, and
Tom Cruise here.
you know, he answers the phone as he's plummeting from a burning jet on the edge of the atmosphere or something.
He's like, hey, yeah. Oh, sure, I'd love to sign an exclusive contract with you.
No, I haven't seen the news in the past year. Why do you ask? And then the little stooge hangs up quickly and goes and runs and gets a contract whipped up. And that's how that happened. The Witcher Season 4 casts Laurence Fishburne. I've watched some of the first episodes of the first season of The Witcher. It's good. I enjoyed it. I don't know. I don't know why I bothered putting this in if I don't know anything about it, but here I go. Gotta pad out the time. This is probably going to be our shortest episode yet, at about, maybe not. I still got 20 minutes to spout my nonsense. Okay, here we go. MCU Fantastic Four, Pedro Pascal. We discussed that a couple episodes ago. Seems to be pretty likely. Now that I discussed this before, there's a whole subculture online of like leakers and information gatherers and shit like that. And they have their own communities and this and that, and there's all entirely like microcosms of shit. But one of the big names in that area has said that it's unlikely that a couple other rumored people would be cast as Reed Richards, which kind of makes it likely that Pedro Pascal has officially signed to be Reed Richards of the MCU's Fantastic Four. I still really hope that it is a period piece, or at least set in the past, to in some way explain their not being there. Like, they're in the 60s, something goes wrong, they get sucked into a time hole, and then they go to the future, and here they are. They're in 2026, 2025? What year is it in the MCU now? Because they're a couple years ahead of us. Anyway, Vanessa Kirby has been reportedly cast as a Susan Storm. You'd have to imagine. She's not going to be the Thing. Although she could be the Thing. She could be Darla Dean, Darla Doran, something like that, from the Mike Allred on the Art FF series. It's a good series. I'm going to cover that on the show, on the YouTube channel sometime. And for some reason, I didn't find this anywhere else. I don't know how true this is, but somebody said that Anya Taylor-Joy is rumored to be cast in the Fantastic Four movie as a villain, which, like, I'm not against. I love Anya Taylor-Joy. I have a huge crush on her. But, like, where did this come from? So I thought I would go down a list of possible characters she can be cast as. Lyja, the Skrull woman that Johnny Storm falls in love with and gets married to, and they're in a relationship for a while, and then they fall apart. Skrulls, I think, are still kind of a big thing in the MCU. I didn't finish Secret Invasion, so I don't know. Even though I am dressed like a white Nick Fury. Look at that. Oh, here we go. Yeah. That's not going to work. I'm Nick Fury. The Mad Thinker. Now, the Mad Thinker, I know what you're thinking, but that's a man. But in the Ultimate Universe, the Mad Thinker was this fucking horrible-looking woman who was, like, around the same age as Reed, so she was in that same program at the Baxter Institute or whatever, and she didn't get picked, but he got picked, and she got super pissed, so she killed her brother and, like, implanted his brain into hers, which now that I'm thinking about it is the fucking premise of Red Onslaught, where the Red Skull digs up Professor X's body and puts his brain on top of his own brain. Just years before that. But anyway, the Mad Thinker, she's this fucking crazy-ass, horrible-looking, super smart villain that nearly kills the Fantastic Four. Like, she takes over the entire Baxter building. She has these evil cyborg things that work for her, which, as I'm going on and discussing it, sounds more and more like the High Evolutionary in the MCU. But, yeah, that'd be it's a fairly obscure villain that you could do that's not Mole Man or Doctor Doom or, Fing Fing Foom. I don't know. Medusa. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Blake, we already have the perfect Inhumans in the MCU. Is the Inhumans show on the chronological list on Disney Plus? Who's to say? But Medusa was... Also, Medusa, you know, she's a hero. But she started off, well, fairly started off. I can't really remember the specifics. But she was part of the Frightful Four, where she was a villain. Anya Taylor-Joy could be Medusa. Reintroduce the Inhumans via that. And then at the end, it's like, oh, Black Bolt picks her up or something, you know. Oh, there you are, honey, he would say from a Looney Tunes-esque wooden sign that he has to hold up because he can't speak. Satan 7 member. So the Satan 7 was Agatha Harkness's, like, it's some sort of tie-in with, or like, reference in relation to Agatha Harkness and that situation. I can't think of any character from that group off the top of my head, but I know they exist, and I know Agatha Harkness is getting a TV show, and you can have a creepy, evil witch woman as your main villain. Maybe not, since we kind of got that in Shazam 2 about 3 different times. The Beyonder. Yeah, here's another thing, but Beyonder's a man. Doesn't have to be. Beyonders, whatever they want to be. They just don't know how to eat and poop, based on the comics. But Beyonder is a influential part of the original Secret Wars comic. And I think he has a fair amount to do in the 2015 Secret Wars, the Hickman one. It's been a minute since I've read that, but I think Beyonder's like chained up or something. Or maybe that's Molecule Man. Maybe it's both of them. But what if, since they are trying to, at least they're trying to get to Secret Wars, what if Beyonder is Anya Taylor-Joy? Ooh. Silver Surfer. I feel like that's what everybody says she would be. Oh, she looks like an alien. Hey, if she looks like an alien, I'm okay with getting abducted. That's all I'm saying. I feel like that's one too generic of a role to play. especially if you're getting Anya Taylor-Joy. 2, I doubt they want to do Silver Surfer or Galactus immediately. 3, no. My next suggestion is Hate Monger. Hate Monger, if you're unaware, is a real Fantastic Four villain who was wore a purple Klansman outfit, you know, the peaked hood and the big flowing thing, but it was purple and it had a giant H on his chest, standing for possibly Hate Monger or his name, which is Adolf Hitler. Because the Hate Monger was a clone of Hitler. I was about to say evil clone of Hitler, but he was a clone of Hitler that showed up and was wreaking havoc for the Fantastic Four until he, like, accidentally killed himself or something. And then they were like, holy shit, we were fighting Hitler. And I just think it would be funny getting Anya Taylor-Joy and everybody's freaking out like, oh my god, who should she be playing? Who could she be playing? And then it's revealed that she is a clone of Hitler. Oh, I hope that one's it. Alright, my last one is somehow even more crazy than the Hate Monger one. And that is The Maker. Everybody should know who The Maker is at this point. He's had fucking how many comics events related to him? He's the Ultimate Universe Reed Richards. Going back to Ultimate Universe. We're going back. He turns bad. He goes crazy. He elongates his head to make his brain work better. And he's a full-on villain. More recently, in the past year, he has escaped the main Marvel universe and found a whole new universe that was before superhumans really got going. And he reworked every reality and all this shit and just made it his own little playground. That's all the further I know. I haven't read any of it. I haven't even finished the Ultimate Invasion. Is that where it started at? I got the first 2 issues, and then I fell off of it. So I really need to catch up because it seems super interesting. And it's just like, it's a fucking crazy-ass world, too. Like, the original Ultimate Universe, it was trying to be a little more realistic, like, in terms of what's going on in the world. But from what I've seen in this new Ultimate Universe, which is Earth 6110 or some shit like that, is that, like, there's no countries, and, like, the European Union is, like, one country, and America is, like, a commonwealth with Canada and Mexico or some crazy shit like this. Like, it's just the Maker fucking everything up, just making this weird-ass world. But that is my final guess, my final suggestion, if you will, for who Anya Taylor-Joy could be playing in the MCU. And finally, more casting-related stuff. Regarding Supergirl, Millie Alcock, Amelia Jones, and Meg Donnelly are apparently rumored to be among those in the mix to screen test for the role. Millie Alcock is the only name I recognize from that. She is in the Game of Thrones prequel, which is something I've also never watched. I watched the first season of Game of Thrones, didn't care, didn't continue. Amelia Jones, I think I looked her up. I didn't recognize her from anything, but she looks like Supergirl. Like, full on, just traditional style Supergirl. She looks like her. I really don't have a preference for Supergirl, or who she should be, who should be cast as. Sasha Calle, you know, she was good for the role that she was in. I enjoyed her a fair amount. She was a very serious Superwoman. I prefer calling her Superwoman just because I feel like Supergirl doesn't make that much sense in that universe. But she was trapped in that dying universe. She's not going to escape. She's done. That was the Snyderverse. It's over. And speaking of being over, that concludes this week's episode of the Comic Shtick Podcast. As always, let me know what you thought of any of the topics I discussed in the show. Who do you think Anya Taylor-Joy could be playing? And why do you think it's Hate Monger? What do you think of the Tom Cruise news and my amazing impression? Excited for the new Star Wars stuff? Do you like the MAXX? Are you one of the 5 people who does? And yeah, let me know. As always, follow me on social media at NotBlakeWild, at Smokey's Videos. Check out the Patreon for all the stuff I mentioned at the top of the show. I should be getting new prints of The Custodians issue 1 on sale on Etsy. But until then, check out my Patreon where you can get the full pages of that at a super high resolution and all the issues of Destructo Boy for only $2 a month. And I will see you next time. Bye!